Well, welcome to the September 2022 Monterey Bay Poetry Consortium reading. The Consortium, as many of you know, is an affiliation of poets in the Monterey Bay area and now in other parts of the country and the world, and we've been presenting readings for many, many years. We carry on a tradition that was established by the National Writers Union under John Lowy, the founder and the dean of the Consortium, and also other poets before the chapter of the union got involved with the readings. Today is John Lowy's birthday. He's not with us in the Zoom reading by presence, but we will and we do send him our love and our best wishes for a very happy birthday, John, and your friends are delighted for you, and we wish you many, many happy returns. This is our 29th Zoom-based reading. We're now in our third year of doing this, connecting with poets and audiences around the world, and of course also across the country and locally here at home. All of this as we continue to work through what's going on in the world, the coronavirus pandemic, its variants, fires this summer, extreme heat, everything else, all as we endeavor to find some equilibrium in the roller coaster ride that we are continuing to experience. And all as we do so today on 9/11, a very significant date. One that I find hard to believe happened 21 years ago. It seems a lot more recent than that. And it's just one now of the many shocks that have rolled through our lives. So in all of this, we invite you to sit back, forget about that stuff, experience the world of poetry, seeing things through a lens that's softened and at the same time sharpened by poetry, and enjoy the community of poets and poetry that are brought to you today by the Monterey Bay Poetry Consortium. The leader of our consortium is Kent Latham, who's here with us, and we are on Facebook at Monterey Bay Poetry Consortium.com. If you haven't had a chance to like us, please do. You'll like what you like. We don't post a lot there, but we do have some pictures, and we will certainly be posting some pictures from this reading. And as I mentioned, we have our own YouTube channel. You can subscribe, and you can get to the channel through Google. Just Google Monterey Bay Poetry Consortium YouTube. Well, today we're going to be experiencing some wonderful poetry from two outstanding and gifted poets, Victoria Bañales and Bob Gómez. And each will read for 20 to 25 minutes. I will introduce each of them as their reading time comes up. So sit back wherever you are, enjoy a cup of coffee or tea or wine or snack or whatever you've got at hand, or a nice cool glass of water, and just enjoy some wonderful fine poetry this afternoon. We're in for a great afternoon. Our first poet is Victoria Bañales, who's a Chicanx writer, teacher, mother, and activist. She's a member of the Hive Poetry Collective, Writers of Color, Santa Cruz County, and founder and editor of Journal X, the literary arts journal that focuses on social justice issues. Her poems and essays have been published or are forthcoming in the Acentos Review, Cloud Women's Quarterly, North Dakota Quarterly, La Raíz Magazine, Journal of Latina Critical Feminism, Translocalities, Translocalidades, Feminist Politics of Translation in the Latin Americas, Beyond the Frame, Women of Color and Visual Representations, and other journals and anthologies. In other words, she's prolific. A Macondo and Vona Fellow, she is the recipient of 2 poetry awards and a Teaching and Excellence Award. And as a board member of the Watsonville Public Library, she created and chaired the library's and Watsonville's Poet Laureate Committee, which led to the city's first Poet Laureate in 2022. And we're going to hear from the city's Poet Laureate next. Victoria lives in Watsonville, where she teaches Chicanx, Latinx literature, fiction writing, and English composition at Cabrillo College's satellite campus, the Watsonville Center. And she's well underway into the fall term and is able to take some time off and give us some of her poetry before she gets back onto the treadmill of work this coming week for this term. So Victoria, thank you so much for being with us. Over to you.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here. So I want to thank the Monterey Bay Poetry Consortium for the invitation. I'm so excited to read with Bob Gómez, whom I totally admire, and I'm so thrilled to have him as our first Watsonville Poet Laureate. Before I get started, I just want to acknowledge the land on which I stand, which is the ancestral land of the Amamutsan tribal band of the Ohlone peoples. The first poem I'm going to read is Papi's Oranges. It was one of the poems that got an award for the city of Watsonville in the adult division, and it's published in the Journal of Latina Critical Feminism. My poetry does have some Spanish, but I hope that the context makes it clear. So get started. It's about my father. Papi's Oranges. When Papi visits by train, he brings a plastic bag filled to the brim, overflowing with orange love. When he visits by car, he packs 2, sometimes 3 plastic bags. Navel oranges, he says. Estas son de las buenas. When I visit Papi, he asks about my departure date, plucks tree branches bare, leaves. On the porch, heaps of orange love. In sturdy plastic bags from Smart and Final, not the flimsy ones from CVS. Que no se te olviden las naranjas, he says. California orange trees give year-round, fecund, brimming with life, they give. Not cherry trees, not peach trees, not plum trees, not apple trees. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I don't particularly like oranges. Berries, I prefer berries. Strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries. Once when my son was little, we picked wild blackberries along Pennsylvania Drive. To reach the plump ones, I ventured into the brambles, blackberry blood staining my legs. A farm worker pedaling a bicycle took pity, reached into a plastic bag dangling from his handlebars. Then, he said in Spanish, with an outstretched caked hand, a box of raspberries in his palm. No tengo dinero, I stupidly replied. He shook his head and smiled. I'm not selling them. Then, berries shaped like mini beehives, drupelets bursting with sweetness, like honeycombs, my son and I, our bellies filled with ruby red love. For that's the thing with berries, you have to eat them right away. Refrigerated, they can last a week, maybe. But Papi's oranges are different. In bright ceramic bowls, my oranges glow, lounge and rest like harvest moons. They sit atop kitchen counters like a Frida painting. And when my golden globes show a hint of powdery snow, I sound the alarm, sense the grave emergency, work like a busy bee. Scrub Papi's oranges clean, slice and juice, golden spheres extract, thick amber liquid, elixir of life, drink till my belly aches, tantalizing sun, honey orange nectar, the Father, the Daughter, the Holy Spirit, parting my tongue, drunk, salt of my orbs, orange tears, touch, syrupy sweetness, dotting my sticky clown face, hurting my tender insides, bursting my pulpy heart, yearning for Papi's orange love, taste of eternal summer, knowing that even orange trees succumb to a winter's end. Thank you. Sorry, I get a little emotional with that one. My dad's a gardener, so he always gives me fruits and vegetables, and he is aging. There's things that cross my mind. as they do for a lot of us, but I am grateful that he's alive. Okay. The next poem I'm going to read is called The Business of Online Teaching. Coming out of this pandemic, I'm so excited to be back in the classroom in person. I can't tell you how excited I am. As a teacher, it was just so hard. And I will say that I did go through waves of depression, nothing serious, but it was so difficult to teach. I had never taught online. It was never a goal of mine. So I wrote this poem to deal with my sorrow of being stuck inside and staring at computer screens for practically 2 years. This business of online teaching. It finally hit me like a punch in the gut. The stark realization, there's no going back, no good old days to return to. They say high flex is the new tech. Like the Hydra beast, it grows, it feeds, sprouts multiple heads, leaving me with none. And I think I understand. I think I see why the woman crashed, why she leaped 300 feet off the ocean cliff. Good morning, I sing to my little black boxes, silent like the remains of an airplane crash. And it finally hit me like a blow to the chest. And it hurts to know I could not save the struggling bee at Sunset Beach. I could not save the dying frog along Struve Slough, its tiny leg busted and swollen. And I cursed the man who crushed it because it finally hit me. There's no going back, no good old days to return to. But the shorebirds don't seem to care. Hungry and feisty, they go about their business, feasting on clams and crabs, gouging the earth, poking the sand. And the fiery sunset remains as glorious as it will ever be, stroking the wands of heaven. That was my refuge, Sunset Beach in Watsonville. This next poem is called Consequences. And it's about the gray wolves that are being decimated. Consequences. There is a law in Idaho, home of the potato, 90% gray wolves destined for decimation. The law moves forward quietly amidst screams, fans at concerts celebrating the warm summer months, backyard barbecues roasting meat, some like it rare and bloodied. Eager men in suits with briefcases pat each other on the back. Eager men in camouflage with rifles pat each other on the back. Wolves are not important, after all. Private ranchers need help, after all. Wolves can't talk, but money talks in smoky backroom deals. Yellowstone turns a crimson red, geysers erupt like punctured veins. It's open season for hunters, trappers, private contractors. The Phantom Lake Pack will never be back, the slaughterhouse continues. A dark shroud drapes over the Rockies, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming. A gale howls, a strident lament, fragile fur. The land weeps, mourns, proud, majestic beasts, ancestral guardians of the wind. As if the suffering cries of a dying wolf, its black blood staining the sacred earth, bore no consequences on our battered souls, wounded. Will we ever be forgiven? This next poem is a little weird. I've never read it out loud. It's based on an experience that I had as a child. It's called Mexican Lottery. The glow from the light wakes me up again. It's 4 a.m. I rub my eyes and see Papi's silhouette. The naked bulb swaying above his head, like an evil eye inside the tiny closet space. Papi wakes up before sunrise, goes to work every day, 7 days a week, toils under the blazing sun, mows lawns, trims hedges, plants flowers, rakes leaves. Hope Ranch and Montecito, 3-story homes that look and smell like pearly wedding cakes. Sky blue heavenly swimming pools that sparkle beneath the golden rays like expensive diamonds. Sometimes Papi falls from a ladder or tree. Sometimes he gets heat stroke or stung by a bee. Sometimes he gets poison oak or strains his back or neck, but the rheumatism is always his worst enemy. Papi tucks in his white t-shirt, buttons up his faded jeans. His work boots are the hardest as he pulls and pulls, reaching for his baseball cap and fleece denim jacket. It's 4 a.m. and cool, but he knows it'll be hot as hell by noon. Papi tugs the steel beaded string that hangs from above, and with a click, he's gone, swallowed like a black hole. I can no longer see him, but I can hear Papi creep like a ghost, invisible, unseen. Papi won't come home till nightfall, his boots muddy and damp, his sweat giving off a stench. Some days he'll stumble in drunk. It's something we hate, but we've grown to expect. El Charravitia on blast. We can recite the lyrics about the man who dreamed of being a pilot, a general. That's when Mommy gets mad, curses Papi under her breath as she rocks her baby back to sleep, crying. I don't see Papi when he leaves. After all, he's invisible. But I do see a flash in the dark that makes my blood curdle. A devil, small and lean, waltzes across the room, ruby red like a Chinese lantern on New Year's Day. I've seen this Diablito before on the Loteria board. With horns and hooves, he races across the room, his flaming tail snapping like a whip. He carries no pitchfork. He hasn't any tools. Unencumbered, he travels light. Nothing to weigh him down as he cuts through the air. I ask God for forgiveness for the time I stole scented markers from Miss Perry's cluttered desk, for the time I made Junior wear a dress, telling him it was the end of the world and God would only take girls. Please, God, don't let El Cucuy take me. I pray to be a ghost, imperceptible like Papi. I plead, but there's no need to pray. Turns out El Cucuy is in a grand hurry. He's in an awful rush. He hasn't got time for small potatoes like me. Turns out I'm invisible after all, unseen, unnoticed, unimportant. Without a second to lose, El Cucuy races to the top of his game. Time means money, he seems to say as he dives into the vanity mirror, disappearing into his reflection. Pretty creepy. I lived in I know some of you are like, she's crazy. I lived in a haunted house. We didn't know it was haunted. We found out, we left. Strange happenings in that place. How am I doing on time? Okay.
You're doing well, Victoria. You've got 5-10 minutes, depending on what you'd like to share with us.
Okay. Okay, this one's a little humorous, but not humorous when it happened. I write a lot about my personal experiences. It's called Noche de Reventón en la Avenida Revolución, or Revolution Avenue in Tijuana, because I grew up in Santa Barbara, so my girlfriends and I would go to Tijuana, right, to go hang out and have a blast, because you could go out there and you didn't have to be 21 years old to go dancing and stuff. And so this happened to me after one of those days that we were out there. And I wrote it after Michelle Cerro's poem. She inspired me. If you don't know Michelle Cerros, she's a Chicanx poet and writer. She's passed away too soon. She was young, and she wrote 2 books, and one of them is called Chicana Falsa. She's from Oxnard, and she has this poem called Dead Pig's Revenge that's hilarious. If you've never read it, you should read it. And so she inspired me. So I wrote this one, Noche de Reventón, which means like, oh, you went and partied. You tore it up. Noche de Reventón en la Avenida Revolución. My homegirls and I, we feeling fine. We strutting down la Avenida Revolución. We find a diner that serves it all, and I want it all. Panqueques bathed in syrup, globs of butter and a side of fruit, huevos a la mexicana, sandwich, grilled cheese, OJ, cups of coffee. Can I get a little milk and sugar, please? I scarf it all down, laughing like a hyena. Pareces marrana, says my friend Lara. And yes, I pig out, my stomach smiling, my jeans frowning. I rub my Buddha belly, my smile whiter than the pancakes I ate. A shot, one for the road, Patron or Don Julio. We wash it all down. My homegirls and I, we feeling grand. We strolling down La Avenida Revolución. We heading home. We gossip and laugh until my stomach contracts. The pain in my gut swells and expands. I am a piñata ready to burst, like Sigourney Weaver about to give birth to an alien ready to tear me up. Just throw up, says my friend Steph, her eyes wider than the tortillas I ate. But I can't, I won't. My hands clutch my stomach. I sweat, I swear. I am a water balloon ready to pop. I cannot walk, I cannot talk, incapacitated. I will explode on La Avenida Revolución. And I think about El Tío Jose and the regrets, oh, the regrets. A dozen scrambled eggs, the ambulance, the paramedics pumping his stomach, giving him meds. But I can't, I won't. I must lay down on the dirty sidewalk, sideways. There's no other way. Surrounded by broken glass and litter, the smell of urine and liquor, I must lay still. I pray it will pass as passerby point and crane their necks. Mira la borracha, they gleefully shout. 3 hours later, I'm up and about, grateful to be alive, hopeful I didn't die. I cross the border checkpoint, make it to the other side. Después del reventón en la Avenida Revolución. Okay, I think that will do it for me. I think I've probably exhausted my time.
Well, you've got a little more time if you want to give us one more. We'd love to hear it.
All right, give me a minute here to pull up another poem here. Okay, here's one. This one's published in La Raíz magazine. It's called I Was Supposed to Be a Boy, Not a Girl. When my sister was born, she was supposed to be a boy, not a girl. Firstborn, she's a girl. Oh, well, that's okay. Que linda. When my sister was born, she was supposed to be a boy, not a girl. Second born. She's a girl? Oh, I see. That's all right. Una compañera para la hermanita. When I was born, I was supposed to be a boy, not a girl. Third born, she's a girl? Again? Uy, no. Otra vieja, says my aunt. I mean, one? That's okay. That's quite all right. Something to celebrate. Isn't she adorable? We'll try again. Two? Te la paso. Not the best outcome, but it'll do. Las niñas look so cute in their matching pink dresses. But three? No, that's excessive. That's one too many. Not necessary. Unnecessary. Not a necessity. What's necessary is a boy, Victor, not Victoria. But I came out rajada, split, roaring and wild like a tiger with permanent teeth, long nails, clenched fists, ready to fight, jumping off trees like a monkey, scrapes, scars, and broken teeth. Look at me, I'm Superman flying off the rooftop. My first concussion at age 7, my second at age 9, a palm across my cheek, slap, a belt across my leg, whack, a stick across my back, crack, snot and tears slowing me down, making me more rebellious. Look at me, I'm Evel Knievel, flying off my bike. Aplácate, act like a girl, placate, serve a plate, wash the plates, don't be late, it's time your father ate. But I'm a girl, I'm not acting, I say. This is who I am, strong enough to be tender, wild enough to howl at the moon. They will try again and again, and as many times as necessary until they get it right. When Junior is born, firecrackers illuminate the sky. Latinaste, you did it. You finally hit the jackpot. But nothing can stop me from howling at the moon. I too can light up the sky. Look at me. I'm a bright star, brighter than the rest, making my way up, 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 and away. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Victoria. We're glad you were born. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. I just was struck by your, you may have been invisible to that ghost in your haunted house, but you certainly weren't invisible to us. And thank you so much. You're like your father's orange trees. You gave and you gave and you gave to us, and we really do appreciate it. And I must say that your experience with online teaching has certainly helped you here today to the extent you may have needed help, because it was wonderful to see you online today, without which we could not have seen you. So thank you very much. It's just wonderful. Okay, well, now we'll move to our next poet, Bob Gómez. Bob is, let me just make a little change here. Okay. Bob Gómez has been a resident of Watsonville since 1984. And I'm going to change things a little here. There we go. Bob's been a resident of Watsonville since 1984. He has a long record of community service and social justice advocacy, having marched with César Chávez in the 1970s and worked as a Pajaro Valley Unified School District migrant and bilingual resource teacher for 26 years. He's volunteered with court-appointed special advocates, CASA, which is a wonderful organization, and served as a chaperone for 7th and 8th graders to Watsonville's sister city, Kawakami-mura in Nagano, Japan. In addition, Bob has helped direct the music for the Watsonville Buddhist temple's Kokoro no Gakko Cultural Summer Program. He continues to visit schools and other institutions to sing songs and play guitar for students. He has said, "Poetry and song connect. For me, it's the same thing. Good songs are good poems, and good poems have rhythms and currents and waves like good songs do. Bob is part of Writers of Color, a group formed to sponsor and promote writers of color in Santa Cruz County. And he is, as we've said earlier today, Watsonville's first Poet Laureate. So we're going to hear from him. And Bob, thank you very much for being with us. Over to you.
Thanks so much, Bob. And thank you, Vicki. I think a lot of the stuff I'm going to be doing today chimes and resonates very well with the work that you presented today in many ways. I'm going to start off with a ballad that's about me. Poets who are trying to get published or doing performances are often asked for a brief bio. So I was asked for a brief bio by Alebrijes Review. And I go, well, I think brief bios tend to be boring and they don't tell who you are. They say what you've done, but they don't say enough about who you are. So I decided, well, maybe I'll write a corrido. I'll write a ballad about myself instead, which is completely sacrilegious. It's completely rebellious. You don't write a corrido about yourself, right? But I did anyway, as a brief bio. So this is the ballad of Bob, El Corrido de Bob. And in English it goes, this is the ballad of Bob the vocalist, of Bob the guitarist, of Bob of the Gómez clan. I want to welcome my Tio Jose and Tia Anita there from DC area. This is the ballad of Bob the gardener, of Bob the carpenter, my Latinx friends. Now, he is an old Chicano, a San Franciscan. For 40 years, he's been married and has 2 children. He applied his interests in bilingual rhyming, in which he is distinguished, this member of the petite bourgeoisie. Recently, he was praised and even named laureate by his beloved town over there by Santa Cruz, thanks to caffeine, beer, and tortillas, planting seeds. He came out in the news. Watsonville, famous for its delicious strawberries, the favorite place of Bob the poet, land and son of the Ohlone and Aptos nations, of conquistadors, surfers, and laborers. His songs for children with humor and tenderness are known in homes and in classrooms. This was the ballad of Bob of the Gómez clan, a poet of love and of revolution. And it goes like this. Esto es el corrido de Bob vocalista, de Bob guitarrista, de Bob de los Gómez. Esto es el corrido de Bob jardinero, de Bob carpintero, Latinx señores. Ya viejo el chicano, el san franciscano, por 40 años casado y con hijo, aplicó sus afanes por rimas bilingües, que se distingue este burguesito. Recién fue laudado y hasta laureado por su pueblo amado, ay, por Santa Cruz. Gracias a cafeína, cerveza y tortillas, sembrando semillas, salió en el news. Y no es mentira. Watsonville famoso por sus ricas fresas, de Bob el poeta, lugar predilecto, tierra y sol de las naciones, actos y olores de conquistadores, surfistas y obreros. Sus cantos pa' niños, con humor y cariño, son reconocidos en casa y salón. Esto fue el corrido de Bob de los Gómez, poeta de amores y revolución. There you go. That's my brief bio in song form. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to follow that with a poem that you might sense the influence of Robert Frost in this poem in the rhyme scheme, and it's called Hymn for the Ground, Hymn, Hymn for the Ground. It is a kind of land invocation. It connects the identity of the poet to the land, to the place where I choose to live, and is probably one of the poems that got me the Poet Laureateship, because it is so deeply felt and it is so much dedicated to the Monterey Bay area. And it's also dedicated to Stan Rushworth, one of our native elders, a great writer and a great friend. Hymn for the Ground. I placed my hand down on the floor. The earth's hand made the wood. The earth's warm blood is in my hand. This earth, this place is good. The water that fills up the gutters and brooks is singing in the ground. The simple water that feeds the roots, a chanting, drumming sound. Frogs are calling across the lake, across the fields and crops. The furrows are deep, the water grows, building itself with drops. Coursing through thickets dark and deep, the water and ground are one. Unseen, unheard, beyond us all, gathering, moving, gone. The sea otter noses, pokes, observes along the tide pool shore. He has no need of my thoughts or words. He dives, floats, eats, lives for. I am the wave that powers and goes. I am the otter, free. I am the poet who dreams and knows. Action is legacy. I thank the gods that are in the ground, the work that is in my meal. I choose this valley to live and die, to stay, to love, to heal. Earth of this valley I do not own. Bird Valley, river and bay. You claim my heart. I claim you home. To love, to heal, to stay. Thank you. I'm going to follow that with another song. This is a well-known song of Mexico called Cuatro Milpas, meaning 4 corn patches. And I'm going to get my translation here. Cuatro Milpas. Here we go. It is a poem of spiritual and physical desolation. So this is why I'm bringing it to you today. One of the things that I do from time to time and in performance is bring works in by other authors, composers, and singers that have influenced me. This is one of the great ballads of Mexico, written by Aristo Silvas Antuñez, 1894 to 1928, composer of Mexico. And this is my translation into English. 4 corn patches are all that remains of the little ranch that was once mine, of the little house so white and so pretty. How sad it is. The corrals have no livestock. Everything is gone. And now there are no doves, nor flowers, nor fragrances. Now everything has perished. If you should lend me your eyes, my dark-haired one, in my soul I carry them, so that they may see there the remains of that little house, so white and so pretty. How sad it is. The palm trees cry for its absence, and the lagoon has dried up. The wire fence that surrounded the patio has also fallen. 4 corn patches, which I loved so much, because my mother took care of them. If you could see how lonely they are. There are no poppies anymore, nor fragrant herbs. If you should lend me your eyes, my dark-haired one, in my soul I carry them, so that they may see there the remains of that little house, so white and so pretty. How sad it is. It's an extraordinary, extraordinary song. Now I'm going to, I love it so much, I'm going to sing it for you. And I've got my backup CD here for you. Here we go. Hang on. Track 4. This is on my CD called Pine Willow Bordered Out. Can you hear that? How's that? Here we go. 4 milpas tan solo han quedado del ranchito que era mío, de aquella casita tan blanca y bonita, lo triste que está. Los potreros están sin ganar, toditito se acabó. Y ya no hay palomas, ni flores, ni aromas, ya todo murió. Me prestarás tus ojos, morena, en el alma los llevo, que miren allá. Los despojos de aquella casita, tan blanca y bonita, lo triste que está. Las palmeras lloran por su ausencia, la laguna se secó, ay, 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 ay. La cerca de alambre que estaba en el patio también se cayó. 4 milpas que tanto quería, pues mi madre las cuidaba. Ay, 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 ay. Si vieras que solas ya no hay amapolas ni hierbas de olor. 4 milpas tan solo han quedado del ranchito que era mío. Ay, 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 ay. De aquella casita tan blanca y bonita, lo triste que está. Me prestarás tus ojos, morena, en el alma los llevo, que mire allá. los despojos de aquella casita tan blanca y bonita, lo triste que está. Estás tus ojos morena, en el alma los llevo que miren allá. Los despojos de aquella casita tan blanca y bonita, lo triste que está. Thank you very much. That is on my second CD called Pañuelo Bordado. If you need to get a hold of that second CD, you've got to come to the Writers of Color reading at the Museum of Art and History on October 6th. Or I might have some actually this coming Wednesday at Cabrillo College, Watsonville, if you want to check out that little celebration from 12 to 2. Vicki can give you more details about that, but that's September 14th, 12 to 2, Cabrillo College, Watsonville, in the Breezeway. Do I have time for one more? All right, let me see. I'm going to have to do this one. This is called Welcome to Watsonville. It is my I have a dream speech about the Watsonville of the future. And I call it Welcome to Watsonville, a sort of a Spanglish, Aztec and English title. And I will read a verse in Spanish, and then I will quickly translate it into English for you. Welcome to Watsonville. Bienvenidos a Watsonville, donde el racismo no ruge en las calles. Los ojos azules se reflejan en los ojos cafés, se miran y se dicen, somos iguales. Welcome to Watsonville, where racism does not roar through the streets. The blue eyes are reflected in the brown eyes. They look at each other and they say to each other, we are equals. Welcome to Watsonville, donde el conquistador se ha conquistado, el vencido se ha vencido, y los dos se estrechan la mano, y el uno saca al otro del río. Welcome to Watsonville, where the conquistador has conquered himself. The defeated one has also conquered himself, and the two reach out their hands, and one pulls the other out of the river. Bienvenidos a Watsonville, donde los cañones se han apagado y las luminarias se han prendido y un baile de jazz folclórico ha empezado con ritmos de rancheras y cumbias y rock and roll. Welcome to Watsonville, where the cannons have fallen silent. The luminarias, the lanterns have been lit, and a dance of folkloric jazz has begun with rhythms of rancheras and cumbias and rock and roll. Welcome to Watsonville, donde nadie habla inglés ni nadie habla español. Sencillamente jugamos con palabras como se juega con un fútbol. Welcome to Watsonville, where no one speaks English and no one speaks Spanish. We simply play around with words like it were, as it were, a soccer ball. Bienvenidos a Watsonville, donde el mercado está abierto al aire del santo mar y las ramas del manzano se sostienen solas y el guerrero águila se viste de flores y la serpiente emplumada camina sobre las olas. Welcome to Watsonville, where the market is open to the air of the sacred ocean, and the arms, the branches of the apple tree sustain themselves by themselves, and the warrior eagle is decked in flowers, and the plumed serpent walks upon the waters. Welcome to Watsonville. Bienvenidos a la plaza de todas las culturas, donde la única raza es la raza humana. El único poder es el poder superarnos, y la única pandilla es la de las abejas Chicanas, welcome to Watsonville. Welcome to the plaza of all cultures, where the only race is the human race, and the only power is the power to overcome and better ourselves. And the only gang is the one of Chicana bees. Bienvenidos a Watsonville. La pesticida se ha suicidado aquí. Y ya no nos matamos tampoco. El virus del amor ha infectado a todos. Y no hay que andar sprayando más odio. Welcome to Watsonville. Pesticide has committed suicide here, and we don't kill each other anymore either. The virus of love has infected everyone, and we don't have to go around spraying hate anymore. Welcome to Watsonville. Aquí los hombres respetan a las mujeres, y las mujeres respetan a los hombres, y los hombres se respetan, y las mujeres se respetan, y todos respetamos a la tierra que nos dio vida y la agonía del sexo. Welcome to Watsonville. Here, the men respect the women, and the women respect the men, and men respect themselves, and women respect themselves, and we all respect the earth that gave us life and the agony of our separateness. Ay, Watsonville. Ahora que te veo con los ojos abiertos, ahora que te imagino con esplendor y alas coloradas, ahora que te sueño como si estuviera despierto, empiezo con mi vida a formarte en mis pobres manos de barro. Ay, Watsonville. Now that I see you with open eyes, now that I imagine you with splendor and shining red wings, now that I dream you as if I were awake, I begin with my life to shape you in my poor hands of clay. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you. That was wonderful. And a perfect poem to cap the reading today. You spoke of the virus of love spreading. No more need to spray hate. Respect for each other, for ourselves. It's a perfect cap to what you gave to us today and Victoria gave to us. And starting off with your hymn for the ground, they get dedicated to the consortium, and also Stan Rushworth, who did read with us just a couple months ago. And it was great to have him, and great for you to honor him with your dedication. 4 corn patches. The song carries the emotion, the utter desolation, and the sadness of it. But I liked in your final poem, Welcome to Watsonville, each of us pulling the other out of the river. That is what we have to do in these times, this flood, this flow of difficulty and darkness that's around us. And you gave us hope in that regard. So thank you both. This has been a great afternoon. We really do appreciate what you've given us. These are, of course, your debut presentations to the consortium. Kent, I'm sure, is going to want to talk with us, and we'll have you back and do this again. And also, too, Kent and Victoria put into the chat information about upcoming events. There are 2 of them that you mentioned, Bob, and those will be in the chat. And what I will do actually is make a screenshot of the chat when I've downloaded it, and I will then email it to everybody who received an invitation to come to this reading today. So you'll be able to get some more of this wonderful poetry that we've been having. So thank you both so very much. And also, too, I want to just tell you that this magic will continue next month. On Sunday, October 9th, Prothero Sereno and Danusha Lameras will be reading with us. Danusha making a return appearance, one of actually many. She's read for us a number of times. That'll be great. It'll be here via Zoom, the consortium. If you'd like more information, please contact Kent Latham. He will put his email address in the chat room, and you can get more information from him. Please also check out our Facebook page, where you will also get more information. And be sure to like us on Facebook. Help us keep this wonderful experience and the magic rolling. Please do check out our YouTube page. So thank you again very much. It was wonderful to be with you. And we look forward to some more of this. And please keep writing and sharing with the world your fantastic poetry in both Spanish and English. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks for hosting.
You're very welcome. You guys take good care, and we'll see you again before too long. Thank you.
you.
Okay.